Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, ni hao, buenos dias, ese aquaba, welcome and what up though? This is Café Mélangé, week numero 9, session numero 2. At some point I might be double dipping in this joint because my interest in uploading session numero 1 from yesterday whilst doing this, but I have yet to do that and I have yet to test it, so I don't want to shut this joint down before I get started. So that being said, get into what the topic is for today. And these are like sessions now. This is supposed to be like a cafe. So there's work to do to get to that point. So in the meanwhile, I run my mouth. So before I say like what the topic is, like give the summary, and additionally, what I'll do is explain what leads up to the identification of the topic, because the topic is the experience is the point, and that's what this is. Shalom Aleichem. I remember you too. How are you doing, Rabbi?
Very good.
All right. Nice to see you as well. So it is the lesson in this. So rather than giving it up front, I'll explain how I get there. Yesterday, I go to a university, and I'm there on certain matters, and I think to myself, well, I'm on campus. Let me go by the Office of Multicultural Affairs and see what the scene is for Mélangé, if there's a student group, if there's any interest, if there's anything communicated, if there's any receptivity, and additionally, is there any awareness? Hi. All right, how you doing? All right. So that's what I do, and there's some difficulty identifying where the office is, and so it has one name on the website, but then when I get to the listing for that office, then there's another name of it, multicultural something or other else. I'm like, oh, is this actually it, or is it something else? And then there was an absence of like an actual meeting space or whatever, but I eventually find out where it is, and it's connected. It's adjacent and it's connected to another center that involves brethren who come from foster care, who are in the government care up to the point of being in university. And so a brother who's the staff member of the Multicultural Center arrives and is very, very hospitable and helpful and friendly, and describes the center that I was actually at initially, the one that goes by a specific name for the students of that experience, and then describes its connection with the Multicultural Center. And I describe what my purpose is, Mélangé, people who are mixed ancestry initially. And so I give my spiel a little bit, and he describes what the specific program is that I mentioned, dealing with students who come from foster care, or in the government care in some way or another, and how he describes how that the experience is similar to Mélangé, and that notion of finding one's place, and being without certain guidelines, and certain infrastructure and support base, as a student becomes a young adult and deals with the issues of being an adult, and so I communicate recognition of that and appreciation of the acknowledgement of the Mélangé experience, but also the congruence and the similarities. Now, that being said, that's genuine, but simultaneously, I think also to myself, oh, come on, yo, the Mélangé is distinct. Mélangé is Mélangé. Like it's its own experience, and I communicate some of the frustrations about Mélangé being lumped into other kind of challenges and additionally within life. And so, again, I communicate on previous occasions that frustration of being pigeonholed or marginalized or just clumped in with the notion of otherness or affliction or whatever else. But again, that's like a next level kind of conversation. And so the purpose of me at that moment is just like establish a foundation of communication. And again, he's very receptive, and I appreciate that genuinely. and we communicate the intention of following up and continuing the conversation to see how things can build from there. So that's where things stand. Now, I mentioned in previous occasions the challenge of even within Mélangé in previous conferences, and additionally of LGBTQ automatically and often very immediately being included within the conversation. And so regardless of where one stands on LGBTQ, and additionally, it's a distinct experience. So there's that frustration of just automatically including that as like an anchor or like I was stumbling for a specific word again. The tracking kind of thing in the Mélangé experience, but even just in like an ethnic experience. If somebody wanted to start a Black Studies or Latino Studies or Asian Studies, Native Studies, or programming additionally. Oh yeah, we got that with the LGBT. No, it's its own experience, and it's not behavioral based. It's ethnic. It's like in certain ways it's comprehensive, in certain ways not necessarily comprehensive, but it's a distinct experience in and of itself. So there's that again, that frustration I communicate about the automatic lumping together, and then additionally, like through the years, as I myself have been accused of having a mental illness, a psychiatric disorder. I often have many conversations with people through the years of that experience of having a mental illness, being stigmatized, having difficulty finding one's place within a group, within a crowd, within a social setting, being ostracized, being neglected, being ignored, being outcast. And additionally, and again, I'm like, multi-ethnic is different from having a mental illness. It's a different experience. And then in that experience of mental illness, and additionally in that scene of mental illness, infrastructurally, and additionally, that was a quick break.
Don't give us much time.
I hear you. In that experience, and in this past year, I've been locked up in facilities where there are a lot of people who are there for substance abuse, and are dealing with addiction, and the challenges, the anxiety, the physical ailment, and additionally, and so again, there's that, Mélangé being mixed ethnicity. It's not an addiction. It's not a substance abuse. Despite the notions of again, finding a place, finding comfort, finding stress relief, and additionally, still is different. So what occurs to me after the conversation yesterday, and amidst all these experiences historically, is that owning up to it, and be like, okay, Mélangé, we all that. And by that I mean we are biological empaths. That's the theme. That's the lesson. That's the go-to term for this session. Biological empaths, genetic empaths, meaning that biologically, genetically, intrinsically, instinctively, we know what it's like to be different, regardless of where we are. So we have an intrinsic, instinctive, inherent ability, one way or another, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, or otherwise. We have an ability to recognize others who are different and to empathize with that experience of being different, whatever the reason is for that difference. And again, we might not like it, we might not agree with it, we might refuse being identifying and coming to the aid or to the cause of everybody we find in life, everybody we meet in life, but we still have that experience, and it's involuntary. It's natural. And the consideration is it's also a gift, as nasty and as tenacious and hellish as it can be at certain times. There's a gift within it. there's a service, there's a healing that's provided through it for ourselves, but also for others. And in therein, there is value. And so the consideration is being mindful of this, owning it, cultivating it, strengthening it, and sharing it. Um, so yeah, you got someone has a drug addiction. Yo, I know what it's like to yearn for calmness and a sanctuary, a refuge. I know what that's like. I'm Mélangé. Somebody's dealing with mental illness. Yo, I know what it's like to be stigmatized. I know what it's like to be degraded, denied, neglected, rejected, dismissed, ignored. I'm Mélangé. Somebody's dealing with LGBTQ. Again, I know what it's like to be dehumanized, to be ostracized, outcast, condemned, and additionally, I'm Mélangé. Somebody's dealing with growing up in foster care, being a ward of the government, being without experience of family, feeling alienated, displaced, without structure. I know what that's like. I'm Mélangé. So it takes some maturity, it takes some growth spiritually, mentally, physically to accept those reins of empathy. However, when we do, the gallop gets better. And I have difficulty discerning whether that metaphor is actually vegan. Because if the horse is voluntarily carrying somebody on the horse's back, then ain't got need for reins. So I have to think of something else increasingly appropriate. But, haha, you're vegan. You care about people. You care about other beings that are being afflicted. I know what that's like. I'm Mélangé. So again, that doesn't mean every Mélangé is vegan. That don't mean every Mélangé accepts that kind of empathic gift. But it's a matter of recognizing it being there and building accordingly. So um, that's a consideration. Biological empaths. Empathy is a great treasure. It's a great weight, but it's a great treasure. And when we accept that, we open the doors to strengthen our relationship with those around us in a meaningful way, in a genuine way, even in a pragmatic way, in a productive, even, I don't want to say lucrative because that's a little bit greedy and excessive, but in a pragmatic way, in a practical way, in a material way, in a supportive way, mutually beneficial way, when it's genuine, when it's meaningful. Um, so it's a matter of, life is a matter of, regardless of what one's background is, what one's heritage is, life is a matter of understanding how to embrace our suffering, to be patient and humble, to understand, to learn the lessons, within that suffering, to improve ourselves and to share those lessons as people are receptive to those lessons. So that's again, regardless of where we at, who we are, that's life. And so, as being Mélangé, that's part of what our experience is, being biological empaths. And what I was going to say before is also that a lot of the afflictions that are widely experienced amongst Mélangé may vary to extreme or within the respective intensity based on the individual and the conditions of the individual. And again, also, we can envision a life, a world, an earth, a society, community, where many of these afflictions that are experienced in terms of ostracization, outcast, and additional are alleviated, that become only a historic memory within our collective Mélangé experience, particularly within preceding generations, to the point where it may be further difficult to readily identify people with people who are afflicted categorically as Mélangé, because, oh, wait a minute, I'm Mélangé, I don't know what that's about. I just know what it's like to be around other Mélangé people. I know what it's like to be very materially comfortable as Mélangé. I know what it's like to be connected with my ancestors and my heritage. And I remember hearing something about it in the past. Our Mélangé ancestors had to deal with this and the other, but today I'm uncertain what that's like. We can envision generations like that, but we have to be careful, because there's purposefulness within the put uponness, for lack of better alliteration. So, all that being said, it's a matter of tempering our frustration, and I'm speaking to myself specifically. Additionally, tempering our expectations, big upping our patience when people hear about us and our Mélangé experience, and when we describe some of the basics of that experience, and then immediately say, "Oh, yeah, that's just like us." No, that's some of that insecurity, that collective community-based insecurity that I personally articulate. That leads to that automatic refusal, or kind of like that pullback of like, we're different, we're unique, or we're distinct. Yes, we are. However, we are similar. There's a common experience, and if somebody's communicating a shared experience, yeah, there may be agenda. Yeah, there may be self motivations in it. Maybe not. But either way, if somebody's communicating a common experience, that's a foundation to build with. So embrace it and build. That's what I have to share for the moment. I'm gonna keep it short because we got blue sky, white gray clouds, yellow soleil, green, yellow, orange, red leaves, green grass, gray buildings, beige stones, or stone crushed stones. Uh, bright life. That's what it's like. Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Zaijian. Adios. Te chagris. Sempre na asamu. Brother Wilfred. One love and peace.